All right, how much time do I got here? Okay, I have another call in about 3 minutes. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Cool. What do you mean videotape my injury? Videotape yourself getting better from your injury. Like videotape yourself at physical therapy. Coaches love to see you come back from an injury. Is it fine to send video to a GA team coach? Yes. Basically said that because of the change, most schools will be recruiting into summer. This is true. I didn't know this. This is very true. To make a high video, should I just put clips of me scoring? And more things than that. Show us your dribbling, show us your passing, not just your goals. Oh, that's annoying. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Instagram. Have any questions, Instagrammers? No questions on Instagram? Can I still play pro as a sophomore? I would need, you got to get recruited by college. How much do I charge? It varies per person. Book a call. How do you put an NCSA profile in your bio? We do not trust NCSA. Do not use NCSA. Use your own account, your own YouTube. Do schools care more about your grades or how you are? Both. They care about both equally. Is good GPA is a must to play college soccer. That is true. What is a great ID camp to go in the Midwest? Live in Michigan. You only want to go to ID camps that you get genuine interest from. So if you just go to a random camp like Future 500 is a good camp in the Midwest, that doesn't mean you're going to get recruited. So you need to email the schools first that you want to go to and see if you can get recruited. Just going to camps is not recommended. It's very difficult to then get recruited that way. So yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I gotta get back to that later. Bum. All right, I'll deal with that later. All right, now where was I? Okay, Instagram skirts. Are Barcelona camps worth it overseas? No, not for college soccer. How can I get into an MLS next team? To get into an MLS next team, you need to send a highlight video, baby. Send a highlight video. Send a highlight video, and then you need to go to their trials. Super important. Okay, 2024, by the way, because some teammates I know got recruited, like April user, that is Nascalza. That's all very true. So would I post what I'm doing for my physical therapy on IG and tags because I wish to play for Toby Nagoyan? That is correct. You should also email them because they're not going to get your tags very often. Is it too late for a senior that plays EDP to play D1? Is it too late for? Yes, correct. You will not be playing Division 1 if you play EDP, but you could play at other divisions. I play for two teams, middle school team and a random Sunday League team. Should I stick to one team? No, you can play for both teams. So is it too late for 2025, but still possible D1 if I will play MLS? I would say it's difficult, but it is technically possible, yes. To make a high video, should I just put clips of me scoring? Okay, why would coaches recruit to the summer based on new rules? With the new NCAA rule, basically the rule has not been official yet, meaning they're gonna make the rule that you have a limited roster of 28 players for Division One. But since it's not official yet, Division One coaches are confused, and they don't know if they need to cut current players or if they need to get new players, or they just don't know yet because the rules have not been made official. So it's going to push all the 25 recruiting class a little bit further back so they can figure out what the NCAA rules are going to be officially. How can you get recruited to play college soccer in the States? Book a call. Links in the bio. I won't expose the coach who said it, but it's a good school. I know I've spoken to a lot of good schools. I've said the same thing. Does having a big, oh goodness, Joshua, you're going to get banned if you say those things. What if I play MLS? Tips for a player that got moved to right back this season. Got moved right back. Do lots of crosses. The rules official teams just have opted in or out. NJ, that's you can't. Some teams cannot opt in or out, but some teams can. To your point, this is very true. They're still waiting on a lawsuit, though. So yes, it's true that it's official. That's going to happen, but it is transparent on the NCAA paying billions of dollars. Nostalgia, I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's drama in the past. Just comment with what you need help with. If I play Travel Academy, is that good? Question mark. If I play Travel Academy, is that good? Question mark. Yes, that is good. Bro, why does NCAA seem like mafia that just goes into lawsuit? It is a mafia. That is true. Is it too late for MLS next senior player to go D1? No, not necessarily, Ben. It is not necessarily for MLS next. It's difficult, but it is possible. It is difficult, but it is possible. Could I play varsity and get scouted? No. You will have to go to ID camps and get recruited. Are ID camps useful for high school freshmen? Yes, they are, Jen Miller, for sure. Depends, though, if you're a good soccer player. I would need to see video. If you're not good, then maybe you should wait. If you think you're an elite level player for your age, then yeah, it would be good. What should I be doing as 10th grade on varsity to get scouted? Highlight videos, send emails, go to camps. What helps gets recruited as a short goalie? Feet. Have really good side volleys. If I have recommendation letters from school teachers and coaches and ex-professional players, how do I submit to coaches? Coaches will not care about any of those letters. You have to give them video and you have to go to ID camps. Otherwise, the schools will not care. They need to see you in person. They don't care about other people's opinions for the most part. You can send them in your emails, but it will not help you. It will help you maybe 1%, maybe 2%, but it will not be the difference. You have to send them video. The real Togoboyi 77. Lewis, it's because we're not talking about soccer. We're talking about school. This is college soccer, not soccer college. All we care about here is academics. Academics always come first. If you don't care about school, get out of here. Academics always come first. How much did it cost to start my business? I like what you do and how you help. Thank you. At the very beginning, it didn't cost me anything. I just started helping kids for free. And then as I got better and better, then I paid for things that would help my players, and it's grown a little bit anyways. Is it hard transfer from D3 to D1? Yes, it's also very expensive. What do you think about NAL? NAL is very good. Aim for Division 3 and Division 2 and Division 1 is possible, but very difficult. Okay, sorry guys, I'm about to jump on a call. If you want to have a call with me.
Recording in progress.
Click the link in the bio. Hello, Mr. Sam. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
All right. Hello. It looks like that's Dad in the background.
Yeah, it is.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Just before we get started, could I ask who found me first?
It was me.
Awesome. And what did you tell let me ask your father, what did your son tell you about me?
What are you telling me about? He said that you are someone, and he showed me, I guess, your site as well, about helping student athletes, high school student athletes with recruiting, with, obviously with soccer, and trying to help with the formulation, like with different colleges and the whole process from beginning to end.
Very true.
So-
Thank you. Good job. I bribed your son to tell you that, so that's a good start.
Okay.
In saying that, could I ask, did you guys get a chance to see the longer video I sent you that talked about the price and what it is I do on a
Yeah.
day-to-day? Did your
Yeah.
father get to see that too?
Yeah, I should have.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you for watching that. I really appreciate it. It allows me to spend more time with you. So in saying that, I have a couple questions I want to ask your son. I have his video over here and everything. Just before we get started, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically, the purpose of today's call is to figure out if we're the right fit. And by the end of today, we need to figure that out because I don't work with very many students. You also are on a timeline crunch. So we got to figure it out. So that's number one. Number two, I want you to interview me so we can figure out that answer. So I want you to ask me questions and see if I'm the right fit. Likewise, I need to ask you some questions to see if I can help you. And then I also want to see if I can scare you away entirely from playing college soccer. Because if I can scare you away, then we don't have to worry about anything. We can just chill. Sound like a plan? Okay, and I can save your father some driving hours and car miles. So in saying that, my first question to you is, how many calls have you had with college coaches so far?
Not any direct with college coaches, none so far, but I've had my club coach, he has a lot of college connections, and I had a phone call with him like for a while, and he recommended me some college and stuff like that that I should call, but none no.
Okay, now you mentioned you have your club coach, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let me back up. So nobody's invited you to any games this fall?
No, not yet.
Okay, and you haven't had any phone calls yet?
No.
Okay. Can you see, obviously, okay, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
Now you have your club coach, which is great. How come you think you need my help if your club coach is doing, is helping you?
Well, I think it's more of I want one-on-one help. Rather, he kind of helps the whole team. Is kind of it's maybe he has some connections and stuff like that, but I can't really work one-on-one with him all the time and stuff like that.
Yes, good example. That's a large reason why I do what I do, because my club coach had the same problem. And that's usually the case for many of the scenarios, but it doesn't mean we're not going to have him help us. We'll talk about how we can do that actually pretty soon. Which then brings me to your father. What do you think your son needs the most help with?
As far as in what terms? For the recruiting part, or?
So right now your son is on track to not play college soccer. I'm going to ask him some more questions, so I could be wrong, but just as of what I know so far, what do you think he needs help with in order to play college soccer, specifically recruiting?
I think he needs help with getting his name out there, getting his video recordings out there to coaches so they can see him. I know last summer he did one particular ID camp. I don't know which one it was.
It was a Future 500.
And he came back from there and said he had some really good discussions with a few of the coaches. So that was intriguing to me. I think it's a matter of figuring out that next step. How do you get the word? I think that's been our biggest difficulty so far is figuring out how's that next step so his tape is seen and his what he's put together.
Got it. Super helpful. So getting him out there and getting exposed.
Right, exactly. And forming that gap, because the high school he plays in is like a 1A.
It's small.
It's a region 1A. So when he plays on the club team, a lot of those, there are bigger schools and all. Now I know that club that's what he always tells me. He's like, club is where it's at. They don't really, for the most part, it's not really looking at the high school, but still on all, it's got to have some kind of a little bit maybe.
Yes, well said. Okay, got it. Super helpful. Now, there's a lot of work. You're in a little bit of a pickle at the minute. I'll call you. You're in quicksand. Why is that you want to play college soccer? We could just relax and not have to stress about this.
Ever since I was young, I've just always wanted to just be with the ball and everything. I don't know. You had a call with my friend Amin, I think a week ago, and we've grown up together. We're best friends. Always played with each other. During COVID, we were always out there playing. It was just the love for the game, really.
And I can tell you this, that he it's 6 days a week, and during the summer it's 7 days a week, and it's 3 times. And about a year and a half ago, he started training with someone at his school that plays for the
Maryland
Maryland
Bobcats,
Bobcats,
the first team.
first team, and that person was looking for someone to train with them. They just so happened to live in our area and just so happened to train at our school. And I remember a couple of years ago saying, who was that? I mean, it was like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he got with that person, and he basically trained with that person. I mean, they were training like 7 days a week, and basically, just a lot of back and forth, on his off time.
I can feel it. I played in that league in NISA. So I know the Maryland Bobcats, and that's awesome. They would not let you train with them unless he thought you were good. And we'll talk about your video in a second, which then brings me to, I want to kind of give you my diagnosis on where I see your situation today. Can I have one favor? You've blurred your screen. I just want to be able to see your father's face in case he gets angry with me.
Do you know how to unblur it?
I think there's next to next to the camera. If you click the camera logo, there's like a little arrow that points up.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Which is to say, your diagnosis. So here's what I want to tell you. I think you kind of know this, but obviously you're very late. So that's a problem. And you have no genuine interest that's like powerful, right? This time of year, you should be getting invites to falls. You should have had many calls.
Yeah.
So my concern is, you're not on track to play college soccer. That's my concern. Now, the reason I'm extra concerned about this is I've watched your video. You're very good. Like, you're definitely a college soccer player. There's no doubt. And I don't mean some no-name school in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Division III, your grades are incredible, beyond incredible. And you're playing at a high level of club soccer. Forget high school. It's good for video, but there's not a lot of coverage there. But, I'm looking at your video and I've seen it. I watched your whole video a couple of times. I looked at your YouTube page to see the other videos. There is no other videos, which is a problem. But the point is to say, I'm looking at a very, Zinchenko for Arsenal. Yeah,
Zinchenko. Yeah. Well, I'm also Ukrainian as well.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, that was just a little guess. But that is to say, your son is like Zinchenko. I mean, his left foot's amazing. He should be playing college soccer. High school should not be the last time you get to play competitive. And club soccer is not going to be enough for you, in my opinion, if you decide to go to college. Now, here's the problems we're facing. That's the good news. The bad news. You have such good grades. The top academic schools, which you deserve to go to, are going to be done recruiting in the next 7 days. Well, October. So maybe they have 1 more month because they're going to do ED1. So I don't want you to give up on them. Now, we're going to send some emails to them because you are playing as a left back and some schools need a left back. But some of them will tell you, hey, we're full. That is that's the deal.
Yeah.
However, some of the schools that I know to be full, I still think should get to see your video because either one day we could transfer there or coaches get fired and they change jobs. But more importantly, I think they may like you better than their current left back. They just don't know you. So that's number one, is we got to message some of them. Number two is Division I soccer is not on the table for now. It is not realistic. Not because you're not the level. Mainly, it's the time frame. So we need to email D3s and D2s. If we get great responses, we can go attack we're going to email the D1s also, but they're just going to tell you, come to camp, come to a showcase, and we don't have the time for that. So right now, my diagnosis is you're a really good soccer player. Your video is too long. The order's not perfect. But the best parts of your video, like there's a minute 30 in here that's like, there's a really good soccer player that should be playing Division III, top academic, or Division II if you're open to the academics there. So with that in mind, I want to show you how I think we can address your problem, which is the biggest one, which is getting you noticed. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So to do that, this is what I think we need to do. And you guys kind of saw this in the video earlier, so I appreciate it. Basically, what we need to do is, in your situation, like I said, the good news is, look, sometimes I come across players' videos and I go, look, you can play college soccer, but you're going to have to aim for low level year 3. And if they say, I don't want to, then I say, look, we're not the right fit. Tough luck. Life goes on. In your case, I'm like, look, you're a good soccer player. So your father makes a good point, which is we need your video to get seen. Okay. Now, your current video, as I mentioned, needs to be like formatted a little bit differently. So I am too nervous to just have you email a bunch of schools with this video again, because I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, so, that was my old one.
Okay. This is all I have. Do you have another one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is the one I was sent. Now, I really like this old one, so I'd like to see the new one. But My point is to say there is. Oh wait, I saw this one. Sorry, no, I got to see your new one. I saw this one. Is this it?
It should be. Oh, is it not?
No, I did see it because you're right. This is not the video I saw. I saw this video.
Yeah.
I saw this video. So this one I like. The other one's too blurry. Anyways, this is one that's really good. However, it's still not enough video. It's also we don't need a highlight video anymore. We need every touch video. So anyways, here's my point. You need better video in a different, like this first goal obviously is fantastic, but there's no self-interview. This page is not professional. Look, club mail, like this is a big deal. It's crossed out, which is confusing, which I think is just an accident. But anyways, we need to fix your video. The next thing is we talked about like getting you seen. So I'm not allowed to call coaches and say, look, I found a left back, he's a baller, as much as I might want to. So instead, we're going to go top academic because you deserve it. We're going to go boys, obviously. We're going to start with probably Division 2 and Division 3, and then we're going to press select all, and we're going to write an email to everybody. And the beauty is with D2 and D3, they can respond with an offer. They can respond with, we want to see you on campus. They can respond with, we want to have you on trial. You can really move the needle. With Division 1, they're just going to say, come to camp. So the beautiful part is because you're a senior, I think we'll get a lot of responses. The bad news is some of those responses will be no. But at least you'll get a chance, which is kind of my job, is to give you the best possible chance, which is then to say, and I think your father saw this, what's special about this system is not only can we email everybody very quickly, but it's genuine. So it's not a robot email because we go like this, dear hashtag coach's name. So it automatically inserts the coach's name and it automatically will insert something genuine that we will help him create. So when it sends it, it will say something nice. So then they'll be much more likely to read it. Then every time he sends an email, he'll be reminded if they didn't respond. And then on top of that, every time he gets invited to a camp or if he gets a text message from them or if they want a phone call, he can organize every email into the appropriate section. Does that make sense? Okay. To your father, does that make sense too?
Yes, that makes sense. And where is all this? Is this
good question? This is when you work with me, I get to give this to you.
Oh, the link. Oh, to link to follow. Got it.
Yeah. And then we need to pick some camps depending. I definitely don't want you going to a camp unless they say they need a left back, and I would prefer if they compliment your video before you go. That's for sure. And then I know you've done stuff. You mentioned Future 500. You had some great convos. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You're a good player, but that was a while ago. That
was a while ago.
So if we're going to reignite those, you got to have a meeting with me and my team, and we need to sit down and go, what school said it? To your point about 1v1, this is your club coach won't do this kind of thing. We need to go, hey, what do we need to do with your situation one-on-one? Does that make sense? Okay. And then this is okay for now. We don't have time for this. And then in terms of club soccer, changing teams, we got to stay where we are for today. Then we got to narrow down your list. We're going to email, 150 coaches. Eventually we'll have to narrow it down to like 20 people. And then you guys, I'm sure, would agree with me, and this is for your father too. You guys would agree that academics come first, right?
Yeah, of course.
So academics come first. So we need to find the right academic school with what he wants to major in, which is kinesiology or economics. So we'll give him both options. But also, your son, unfortunately, likes soccer. So if he doesn't like the coach, he's going to be miserable. So really, we got to find a school that he loves, that he's going to play, right? You don't want to go to a school and not play any minutes. So the good news is you're athletic enough, you're technical enough, you're strong enough. You are a Division 3, 100% college soccer player. Division 2, I would say 89%. Division 1 is a little bit difficult right now.
Would that be like something like in the future I could like transfer to, like say I have like a good year Division 3, like
yes.
I know Mean was telling me something like that.
The answer
like
is
how
yes.
You were telling him.
The answer is yes. It's a little expensive because sometimes when you transfer, your classes don't carry over. So be a discussion we have with your parents. But look, I am impressed with your video, and I'm like, this is a good soccer player. There's even an argument if you don't play college soccer next year, Division 1 will not happen. If you play college soccer next year and you do well, then we can have a discussion. It's still on the table. It's if you don't play college soccer, every school will wonder. It's kind of like being a bastard child. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's a handicap. So you got to get committed. It's like getting your first pro contract is kind of a big deal. Same with college.
Yeah.
Which is then kind of to say to you, look, there's a lot of work, especially to work with me. does this scare you away, Sam? Are you like, no, this is too much work for me?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm so sure.
Okay. And I can feel that in the way your father described the way you play and always are playing. From your father's perspective, do these steps to you, is this the types of steps you think your son would benefit from?
Yes, I think so, definitely. Now, how do you work with the deadlines, like the early decision and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, good question. So with your son's scenario, it's going to get a little complicated. So the first thing is we're going to ask him, what schools are you going to apply to no matter what? Just tell us what they are. We're going to email those schools a very specific email. We're going to customize it and go, I am applying to your school, blah, 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 blah. I have to write those for you because you're going to go.
Yeah.
Now, if you say to me, Zev, I'm going to ED1 to a certain school because it's your dream school, we will email them.
No, there isn't really anything like that. But
okay, then we'll worry more about early action and regular.
Yeah, early action.
So that's all, minimum January 1st. So, or maximum January 1st. Some of them are earlier. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to create your top 20 favorite schools with or without soccer. And we will apply to those because school codes first. And if you get in, there could be a walk-on opportunity, but it's complicated because schools really don't do walk-ons anymore. So you'd have to walk on in the next semester.
Yeah.
So we'd like to try and prevent that if we can. But to your father's point, this is what it looks like on a day-to-day, so we can do exactly as he described. So the first thing is this. You're going to get a coach to work with plus me. So you'll have me and this coach. The reason there's both of us is I got to write all your emails. I got to look up which schools need left backs that I think you would like. I have to give you that list of schools. I need to watch games. There's these new NCAA rules. I go to conferences all the time. So you need two people. So you're going to get a coach and me. Your coach is going to meet with you every single week for the first month. And for you, that is non-negotiable. With your son, we need to fix his video. You cannot send that video out again. Okay, that will not work. So we got to fix it. That's number one. Once we fix it, we're going to send it to a bunch of schools. Once we send it to a bunch of schools, we're going to get a bunch of responses, and sometimes they will not respond. So we need to organize those. So you must message us pretty much every day, almost, maybe every other day, on Discord. Do you know what Discord is?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is really addressing your son's point, which is one-on-one guidance. Like, we are with you, especially since you're a senior. We are with you. Like, we have to be with you every day, basically. Then you're going to send me more video. You have more video from high school, I assume, like full games?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to send it to me. We will need the timestamps if it's really blurry. If it's a clear image of you, like the video from your high school or from your club video, I may not need the timestamps, and you can just send me the video and I will edit it. Okay. Then we won't have time for a lot of game video review just because we're busy. We do also have a sports performance coach, which we could talk about later, because when you play college soccer, we want you to do well. But for right now, what we need is kind of what we're going to do with what we've done with this student. So this student's also your year. Your son's going to get this Google document, and we'll have all of the information. And then what we do is we meet every single week. And every time we meet, your father's going to get a recording, unless he wants to be in on the meetings, which he's welcome to, about what we talked about. And so with this student, we have to text Brown. With this student, we have to call this school. And this is us meeting every single week. You see this? So we need to do the same thing with your son so we can keep track of everything. And we have a homework for him. I got to fix his videos, pick his schools. And you're going to have homework such as I got to send this email out. I got to make a genuine note. I got to follow up. I got to respond about my transcript, because they're going to ask for his transcript for sure because he's got good grades. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that brings me to this next question for your son. Did that scare you away?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Is that the type of help you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say so.
So, and for your father, does that make sense how we're going to address the application stuff?
Yes, it does. Now, the only thing I have a question about is when I keep hearing about this November 1st and November 15th deadlines that, for scholarships and for everything, that you have to be as close as you can to that, because once they get through all of that, then whatever's left is left.
This is correct. This is called early decision. Now, in order to do early decision, if you do early decision and you get into the school, you cannot go to another school. So
no, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that I understand. But I meeting the other day with his counselor, and they said something about, is it early, not early decision, early action, or it's early, like what's it called? I'm not sure I'm thinking about like early application, like 11-1. Is that the same thing as early decision?
Early action.
Early action. Okay.
Now, to your point,
you have to decide at that point. Oh, you do. Okay.
So the problem is, well, his problem is this really. He doesn't know where he wants to go to school. So because of that, he probably won't have the privilege of doing ED1. Now, here's the good news. We're going to send out a bunch of emails by Wednesday, Thursday, if he does what I say. So if by Thursday, which is, let's say by September 30th, we send out all the videos and his videos. Right. By September or October 5th, a school says to him, we want you. Will you ED1? Well, then we'll ED1. We still can do it. We have a month. But because unless you guys turn around and say, this is the school we want to go to no matter what, you don't want to just ED1 because then you're stuck. So
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do.
So, and here's the good news with his grades. So I'll show you this one last thing. So to work with us, it looks like this basically. So we talked about the one-on-one and everything. You're a lifetime deal. So if your son wants to transfer one day, or he's struggling with his college coach and he needs to talk to the sports performance coach, we're with you forever. Okay. So we're not with you for the next 6 months when he's going to get recruited. We're with you until he graduates college. This is the price to work with us, and it's split up into 3 payments. If after the first month you say this was super helpful, but we don't want to continue, we could go our separate ways if you so choose to. But the goal is in 3 months from now, if we're not getting recruited, then I will refund it. And I will go, look, I think your son's good enough. I think I know schools that like him. So I put my money where my mouth is, per se. And then if he keeps his grades where they are, I can pretty much tell you he's going to get a minimum of $65,000 to $85,000 over the course of 4 years, which is a good return on your investment. Now, scholarship's important, and if he does ED1, there's more scholarship, but I can't measure happiness with money. So if he finds the right school and it's a little bit less scholarship, but he loves the coach and he's happy, that's the point. And let's also add in, let's say he applies to I'll just pick a top academic school that's relatively close to you. Let's just say you're going to apply to a Princeton or a Harvard just because you want to, and you get in, but the soccer team doesn't want you. Look, I'm going to tell you to go to Harvard or go to Princeton. It's a really big deal. We'll help you get on the club team, which is very competitive also. But if you want to be part of a college soccer team, then we have to make sure we find the right place for you. Does that make sense? So one of the things that we said at the beginning of the call is we needed to find out by the end of today if we want to move forward with each other. Now, there's a big decision. I want you to talk about it with your father. So you're actually not allowed to decide this moment. I need you to talk to your father.
His mom too.
Of course. And I want you to talk to mom. So you're not allowed to work with me today. However, I want to ask your son, why do you think you're a good fit to work with us? We do not work with very many seniors. You will be the only left back I have for 2025 starting now. That's for sure. So why do you think you're a good fit to work with us?
I don't know. I think I'm just very passionate in this sport. I kind of just always, like I said, grew up playing it. My love for it. Every day, I'm always trying to play as much as possible and stuff like that. And, I really just want to play at the next level. And I'm really doing kind of whatever it takes to try and get there.
Awesome. And from your father's perspective, why do you think your son's a good fit to work with us?
I think because his persistence, like when he gets something that he really wants to do, that he's going to follow up and he's going to follow through on it. And it sounds like to me, if he was to decide to work with you all and we decide that's the next step, you would give him like, okay, this is what I need for you. And I need this by like tomorrow or something like that.
100%.
He would take care of it. And if you're, so I think it's a matter of that passion he's talking about will endure and like into his follow-up. You might get someone who's interested and they're kind of, they're lazy or whatever. He's not going to be that. You know what I'm saying? Based on what I'm hearing, it's going to be, it's going to have to be a lot of back and forth, and it's going to be a lot like this. We've had some conversations recently about within the last week or so, and actually the school just had a big thing. That's why I knew about some of this stuff. I've gone through this once before with his brother, but there's a lot of changes. It was like 9 years ago or a long time ago. So it's definitely a lot different than it was before. And I can tell by some of the things I'm seeing. So I learned a lot last week in the meeting with the school. So I'm basically, when I'm doing the back of my head, I'm thinking of that. And I'm thinking of what you're saying. And I need to kind of put it all together and say, okay, how is this all good?
So here's the last thing. I obviously hope it's clear that we're with him for life because, 5 could be a lot if we're going to be with him for 2 months or 3 months. So that's one. There is one other option I can provide you. I don't recommend it, but I do want to make sure I can help everybody. So if let's say you guys say, look, the reason tomorrow you say, Zev, we spoke to the family, we can't afford it, we don't want to work with you. Okay, I would say that's life. I can only help as many kids as I can help. If you go to this site, you'll see another option, which, like I said, I don't recommend for you. But basically, what's on this site is everything we spoke about today, except you don't get to meet with us every day. You just meet with us once. And on the
I think that's what Amin did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we get one meeting. So we could do one meeting only. You would still get access to Discord. You'll get the magic email system. We will not edit your video. So that's the main reason why I don't recommend this for you. But if you say, look, I want help still, but I don't want to do the other model, this one. But I sometimes tell people, look, just do this option. It's just better for you. I don't feel that way for you because your video is not correct and I want to touch it. If you say, look, I'm happy to touch it myself as long as you tell me what to fix, that option might be better for you guys, but it's up to you.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is an email you're going to send me.
Yes.
Right. I'll send both of us. Good. Because I was writing some of it down.
Sorry. No. I'm going to send it. I'm just send it to you. And then on top of it, this is recorded and you'll get an email with it after this. So you can have a copy of it. So I have to go to my next call. I really appreciate your guys' time. Just so I have an idea from your father, let's say you were not going to work with me. What would be one of the reasons you wouldn't work with me?
Probably the cost.
Okay, good.
To be honest, to be quite honest with you.
Okay,
because think about not knowing how much we're going to get for him when it comes to scholarship. We have money set aside, so that would be my biggest reason at this point. But from the other standpoints, the reason I would have him work with you is because of what I've heard today and all the information that you provided us.
No, thank you for telling me the honesty.
Yeah, and I think the biggest reason is cost, unfortunately.
No, I appreciate that.
Discussions that we'd have to talk about. I got to talk about with his mom, and when she gets home later, and decide what we think.
For sure. Best. I would say you have the other option, so it's a little bit cheaper. Right. The other thing I would just add is, look, and I am biased here because I like your son. If he keeps his grades where they are, and they're not going to change in the next 3 months. He is looking, academically speaking, assuming the soccer team likes him, at $60,000. That is realistic. But I do understand your perspective. So thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. If you have any other questions, just email me back. The last thing is this. In the email you just got is a contract. If you want to work with me, you're going to click on the contract. You're going to see a couple questions because I need to write your name and create your custom drive. The moment you get it, you're going to get the contract says, if you don't show up to my meetings, I'll fire you. If you don't give me video in the next 3 months, I'll fire you. If your grades drop below a 3.5, which is not going to happen, I would fire you. And then finally, if in 3 months from now, you are not being genuinely recruited and on track to earn a scholarship of $60,000, then you can fire me and I will refund it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Very good, everyone. Nice to talk to you. Talk soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Do I have one more call? I think I have a break here real quick. Okay. Well, how videos I send from this account be good? How do I go pro from high school? Name UFC fighter, and how do I go pro from? Should I quit club and play high school? Do not quit club, that's for sure. Will highlight videos I send for MLS accounts be good? I need to see your video, Boxy, to know if it would be good. What's up, Ticker Talk? Can I go D1? I have 3.0 and didn't make JV. I'm now a senior. No, you cannot play Division 1, but aim for junior college. Get them grades up while there's time. Academics helps a lot. That's very true. I'm a sophomore on the Real Colorado 08 team that just went to the final, but I have a 3.0. Thoughts? It's possible you could still play at a very high level, Caleb. You'd have to give me a call for me to know more. Aries, thank you for helping everybody. I really appreciate that. The call got canceled. Oh, what a bummer. Oh, Don, I already knew about this one. I think I already texted them. Okay. All right. I just got to take a couple notes real quick, everybody, because I got to keep track of all of you people that are calling me. So just give me 1 second here. Avner, I did Avner. Jonathan. Christian or no show. Sam. Like I just spoke to. Okay, September, yes. September. Okay, I think that's everybody. Okay, Sam. All right, I have one more later, so I do have a little bit of time. Oh, shit. I forgot about one. Shit. Oh, that was a fuck up. Hi, Todd. This is the CollegeSoccerGuy. I think there was an error on my end regarding a Zoom link of some kind. I couldn't find you guys on there, but I think it's my fault. Are you guys still available?
Yeah, we're on it.
Okay.
Waiting for hosts.
Okay. I think it's a technical error on my end. Let me stay right there. I will fix it. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay.
Bye.
Recording in progress.
I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't have a good answer. I was waiting for you. You were waiting for me, but it was weird. So I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
you're Zev, not Quinn, right?
Correct. Quinn is somebody I will have you speak to if you want. Basically, I typically have you speak to Quinn to scare you away. He's my former student, but I was looking at your information. I told Quinn that I wanted to talk to you guys first, and then afterwards he can try and scare you away if you would like, if I don't do it myself.
All right. Hey, we're just north of Valpo, so we grew up right in your old stomping ground.
Oh yeah, where are you? Where are you?
Chesterton.
I know Chesterton. That's hilarious. There's not very many people that know Valpo, let alone Chesterton. That's for sure. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, one of the reasons too, I told Quinn that you guys lived. I saw that you were near Valpo, so I was like, oh, I'd like to talk to them. But typically, I have him scare people off first, and then if they survive him, then they get to me. But in your situation, it's a little different. So in saying that, if it's okay with you, I kind of want to talk about the purpose of today. Is that all right?
Yep.
So the goal today is to see if we're the right fit, besides my mistake that you saw with the time. The goal here is to see if I can scare you away. And if I can scare you away from playing college soccer, then maybe it saves us a lot of time and energy and everything else. If I haven't, then maybe I could tell you what it looks like. So the goal today is to find out if we're the right fit. I know you're a good soccer player. We'll talk about your video in a minute and your level and who you're playing for. I saw all about that Indy 11 and everything. But what's important is we see if we're the right fit and if I can scare you away. But the other problem we're facing is because of, frankly, the demand of people that want to work with me, but also the time frame that you're in, despite your age, we have to find out by the end of today if we're going to work together. Does that make sense? So it's important that you ask me any questions that you have, and this specifically for your son, since this is his life. So that way we can figure out if we're the right fit. Is that a deal?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll be candid. I don't know if we can make a decision by end of day. I'm still trying to get my arms around the fact that he's a freshman. We just figured out this club, the next level club scene. And now literally I sat through one of your podcasts that was very, very good. Many of them.
Thank you.
I'm going, wow, we've got to start yet another process. And we just finished a process. So that's it. But we're willing to learn. We've tried to learn as much as possible in about a week of all your stuff. It's been really great. But yeah, that's where we're at. And he's had the dreams. So
awesome.
And I sat through your videos and all that stuff. But and I've asked him at least 20 times, how interested he is in this next level, which is yet 3 or 4 years away. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at. Zev.
No, super. I appreciate your honesty. And, one of the things we have to find out today, look, because of I am extreme, which is one way. Some people call me Chicken Little, right? They're like, start now. And the problem is, look, I just got before you. Part of the reason maybe the time didn't work, I was speaking to a senior. You know what I was telling the senior? No, you're not going to play college soccer. It is too late for you. So part of the reason or in their case, they were quite good, but they're not playing Division I, no chance, is I was like, look, this is why I'm talking to you. So even to your point, if we can't decide today if we're going to be a fit together, at the very least, to your point, we will educate you. But because of the nature of how many students I can work with, which is limited, we do have to do our best, which is we may not come to an answer, but we'll do our best. So that is to say for your son, I have a couple questions for him first. Is that okay, Mr. Cullen?
Yeah.
So your father mentioned already that he's tried already to scare you away and say, how badly do you want this? How bad? If I know where Indy 11 is, and I know where Portage, Indiana is, or Chesterton. So I know you guys are traveling. In saying that, why do you think it's important to start as a freshman? Maybe I'm wrong. Why do you want to get started at all?
I've heard it's just better to start early because once you start later, it's your chances keep decreasing. I'm just trying to start early.
There's definitely some truth to that. Now, but you're a freshman. Why do you think you could start in a year from now? Why do you want to start now?
Probably better earlier than later.
True. I think the other thing, if I may, is do you think it takes a long time to get these coaches' attention?
Yeah, I would think so.
And do you think there's other freshmen that maybe have already also started?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think you're competing with your teammates, or do you think you're competing with maybe the whole country?
I like the whole country.
And what if I even said the whole world? I mean, 30% of these rosters are international kids. So to your point, you make a good point of why to get started. Now, the other point, though, is, if I'm working with a freshman, like there's a couple of your teammates who I saw in your video who I would tell them they should not get started yet because they're not the level to be beneficial to them. My job is to decide if I personally think you're the level, and we can disagree, of course, but you'll at least hear my opinion, which is to say, according to your form, you haven't really done anything yet. So I just want to confirm, have you texted with any Division III coaches, or have any of them talked about coming to a game this fall?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Started.
Okay. And the reason I asked that, to the point of competitiveness, the freshmen that I'm working with, or the kids I started with in 8th grade, which sounds crazy, but it is the reality. They are texting with and talking to college coaches. And one of the reasons I'm adamant about this is, look, about probably 6 months ago, if you tried to call me, I would have said what your dad did, which is, you're a freshman. Don't worry about this yet. But I kept running into this issue of having to tell players, hey, you got injured. Because you got injured, you're not going to be able to play Division I soccer. If you get injured, it's okay. We would have already gotten some interest. Hey, you're not playing at the club team because you have to switch. It's okay. We can afford mistakes. It's later on, we cannot afford those mistakes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Which then brings me to, why do you want to play college soccer? There's a lot of work for your dad. It's a lot of work for me. Why do you want to go through all this?
I don't know. It's like, and it seems like a really like good experience. Like difficult, but like good, I guess.
I guess I'd ask your father the same question. You made a good point. He is only a freshman. Maybe he shouldn't get started? Why do you think he should? Why do you think he should get started?
Well, you've informed us and me, and I made him sit through some of the podcasts too to say, hey, again, we just went through this, thinking through the MLS Next options, and the drive. Yeah, so that took a while, but and I didn't know the math part until you've explained the academic and the sporting part, and even the fact that I guess the more we're able or willing, then maybe that increases your chances, and the more chances you get, then the more leverage I don't know what the word is, but for additional options. And it was very interesting. So I said, hey, at a minimum, he needs to start thinking about, one, does he think this early on that he really, really wants to play post high school? And he's answered that for me many a times. And I know I've coached a lot of kids, and he's one of the ones that is never without a ball. So that didn't surprise me. But now, now the platform, the service, and starting this process is something that I saw. We're trying to understand, and now I'm going, hey, I would assume he has to do the work with those tools and services. It looks like that's the model, right?
It is the model. We need to help him, meaning like we're going to tell him what to say. The analogy I would give is, if he wants to date somebody one day and he wants to say the right thing and give him the right gift and time it and act cool, and then, not act cool. Our job is to tell him when to do each of those aspects. Part of the reason we don't like just give the tools away is because on their own, I can't make like a program that just gets everyone recruited. I have to be able to talk to them and say, what did you like? What did you not like? But yes, the answer is he will have to send the emails. We can't call anybody for him.
Yeah. So, he's got good grades. He's shown so far that he's really committed to the sport, and he loves it as much as anyone I know. And I've got others around that just aren't as obsessed as he is with it. So, yeah, I said, let's start the process, and maybe if we start early, we don't have to. We're not behind the 8 ball, and then kind of screwed later. So,
well said. Really well said. I'll have you start talking to my other videos about the freshmen. In saying that, now I'd like to give kind of my diagnosis on your son's situation. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, please.
So obviously this is for you, Mr. Cullen. I guess let me ask you one more thing. What's your dream school? If you could play at any school, where would you like to play?
Probably Michigan or IU.
Okay, that's what I figured. I figured IU would be in there. So if you look at the roster for IU, for example, which you kind of already know, which is why you're traveling, the percentage of kids that are playing MLS Next at IU is remarkable, let alone they do have quite a few internationals, and they're very good. Michigan, at Valpo, I got to play against Michigan a couple of times. They're very similar. So already, if you want to achieve your dream, that those are very competitive programs, arguably professional level, which is to also say the student, for example, we just committed a student to Duke. He committed in a sophomore year. So in a year from now, a little bit more, about a year and 3 months, he was done with the process. Does that make sense?
That's really early.
Very early. Now, the reason he was early was we started with him in 7th, 8th grade. He was going to camps, and he was a good soccer player. But the big thing that we're dealing with is by June 15th, if you want to play at IU or Michigan, you need to be getting a phone call, basically. And if you're going to get a phone call, how would you expect them? Like, do you think, for example, IU knows who you are right now?
No.
How do you think we could get IU or Michigan to get to know you?
Probably Islands.
Okay, one way would be, what if we sent them a video like every month, the best of your video every month? Do you think that by month 11, they would probably recognize your name from an email?
I think so, yeah.
It certainly would give us a chance. on top of the fact of camps and your club coach, and we have to do it all. But that goes back to the diagnosis. If you right now, if you said to me, I want to play at Michigan or IU, and I've seen your video, I don't think that's out of the question. You look like Aguero-esque. Aguero's out of your period. I give you a different player. Alvarez, you know Alvarez from Manchester City?
Yeah.
Who's at Atletico Madrid now?
Yeah.
Okay. You have attributes like him. Hard worker, you score goals. I would say it's on the table. Like logistically, from what I've seen in your video and what level I know you're playing, I think Division I at a big school is possible. If you showed me the same video as a junior, I would tell you Michigan is not going to happen, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good news. Now the bummer, my frustration is the analogy I would give you is you are a boat, you're really fast, you have a lot of ability, but you're on the beach. Nobody knows who you are. So my job, and you're going to help me, and I'm going to help you, is to go, how can we get all these coaches to know who you are? And one of the things that I am impressed with is the amount of video that your father has taken. And I went through, I would say 95% of every single minute. I can't think of a game I didn't watch, but I saw all your touches against Classic, against the Illinois games, with West Chicago, FWU. And I'm like, wow, I know who you are as a player. Like I have a pretty damn good idea. Now, some of the videos are too long. Some of the videos we might split in half just because coaches won't watch that long. But you guys, if I can make a coach do what I did today, they would want to know more about you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
those were for him and I just to review. Geez, I didn't know you went on all those.
And this is exactly what the college coaches need to do. Because one of the things I'm noticing about your son are things he needs to improve upon, which is healthy and why you made the videos. But also, I have a very good idea of what he's like. Even the moments, I like the moments. There's a couple where he misplaced the pass. His reaction was fantastic. That's what I need from a striker. So I'm not worried about those. His technique is good. His finishing is good. Now, you don't have you do have a highlight video, like a only highlight video, which is good and important. It's a little too long. It's not formatted correctly. We don't have your GPA, your grad year. There's a lot of things missing. So you cannot send this to a college coach yet. However, that's my job. I want to make sure we get it in the hands. And there's another couple things where you do a great couple things, but your first clip is amazing dribbling, but it's like you're a striker. It's not a goal, and you do have a great couple goals in here. So my first thing is I need to switch the order of your video. Does that make sense?
Yeah, one of his predicaments, it's a good, we knew it was an opportunity, but it's also, he's went from a 9 and a 10 to a formation that he's not a 9. I mean, they're pretty giant.
I'm 8 right now.
Okay.
He's been playing fullback, which he's grateful for the time and the experience, so that the tape is going to look weird. He's not yet probably in the positions but he's willing to play wherever. So, that's kind of thing too. He's so early and
great ball. Okay. So this is super helpful for me to know. What we do in those situations is we change the emails a little bit. First of all, there's a clip here. I'll show it to you real quick. To your point about you being an 8, which I can see you being an 8 in college, which is probably what you went back to. We're still early on, as you said, but this is really good. This moment here, hold on. A throw in, super turn. And this is, who plays for Barcelona, not Gavi, Pedri. This is a Pedri moment. This is really nice, really nice. And then you keep going, and then you end up, it's a great strike. Good save. But this is, I don't care that you missed. This is really good. Okay, this clip is really good. So to your point about him switching positions, this is exactly why college coaches need to get to know him, because they're going to have their own idea for him. As he gets older, we will secure a position. We'll talk to his club coach about it. But what I'm selling, the good news is what I'm trying to get at is you have video, but I want to fix it a little bit. I want to reformat. I want to shorten it. I want it all over Instagram, all of it. And if you do, basically, you can only do a minute videos on Instagram. So I'm looking at 35 videos here that I can get on Instagram. Does that make sense?
I would assume, again, he just started MLS Next, so I would assume you're going to want all the new stuff.
Yeah, we're going to stay away. There's a couple of these that I don't mind if they stay there, because I don't mind seeing the progression. So that's okay. But you're correct. We won't put all of it on Instagram, and we're not going to send it all to college coaches. But especially since we're now in MLS Next, I pretty much want that stuff only, to your point, like this stuff. Some of this stuff is really good still. So we'll go over the footage, but my point is to tell you, like, you're good. The good news is you're a good soccer player with good video. The bad news is nobody knows who you are. And I think because of your level for your age, I would like to see the coaches get to know you. Like, I want the coaches seeing video of you kind of every week.
So we were talking about, I mean, the logistics. Right now, our schedule is pretty wild. He's got siblings that are playing too, not at his level, but these ID camps that you talk about, you know, he can, with a partner like you, it sounds like, certainly get the hang of this. And then at his age, he gets the engagement and the core and communication. And then is it the ID camps? And I'm just trying to figure out, how do we squeeze those in, or is that later down the road?
Good question. So I'm going to give you something else. Your time is going to get a lot worse. He's a freshman now. Wait till he's a sophomore or junior. His school is going to get worse. Everything's just getting worse from this point on. So time-wise, the part of the reason we need to start now is so when he is a junior and it is worse, we're not having this discussion then, because that is a real pain in my butt. So, and in your butt. So to answer your question is yes. So I want to show you what that looks like. So when we're working with kids, to your point is, let me show you.
I guess what we're kind of, he and I were talking about, yeah, like freshmen, what are the kind of the goals?
Okay, so
good. You just mentioned
step
one, which was get these coaches knowing his name and watching some of his stuff. And then, so go ahead, I'll turn it over to you.
No. Well, the answer to the question is I cannot say for freshmen they should do this because it varies by the kid, it varies by their level, and it depends. For your son, if you want to play at IU or Michigan, the first thing is I want to fix his highlight video. I want him to be emailing the Division III schools now and getting genuine invites now because it will happen. I want them emails to the D1 schools, and I want to pick his camps. If you said how many camps, 2 to 4 camps this year. And it would depend a little bit on the response rate we get from some of the D3s, like in the local-ish area, say the Midwest. There's 1 or 2 camps that are bigger camps that I would probably want him to go to, but because he's a freshman, once he hits his junior year, we pretty much never go to a mass ID camp ever again. So, and you want to take advantage of the fact that when he goes to one of these camps, he's going to play against a junior, and the coach can be like, how old are you? And he's going to say, I'm a freshman. They're like, whoa, what the hell? That's what we want. We need that. Because that's how they say, oh, I'll come to your game. Like the kid who committed to Duke, you know, they had seen him at multiple camps, Duke, and were like, we'll come to your game as a freshman. Like they were making an effort despite his age because they thought he was good. We need to do the same. And then obviously we're going to create like a pretty big list. And to your point about I had 2 other brothers that both played college soccer. So my mother was driving like crazy. Your son obviously has school. So part of my system that I create is to save you time. So you're going to send a bunch of emails. But with our email system that I think you saw, you know, it only takes 10, 15 minutes to email every top academic Division III school. Will take us, 15 minutes. So that's great. All your videos, I will edit them from now on. I will make sure that they're in the correct order. When he has to respond, I will need his time. So time-wise, I need like an hour a week of his time right now. When he gets a little bit older, I might need 2. It never really reaches more than 3, but it depends. If he's about to go on a visit to 10 schools, well, obviously we just need to talk a little bit more, but pretty much about an hour to 2 hours a week.
Yeah, really helpful.
Yeah. And that's the goal. Look, yes, there's all this work we have to do, but the reason I spent my life savings building this thing is so that way your son can focus on school. And so when he makes a highlight video, you shouldn't have to, although you did a great job, Dad, but you have a job, you have life that should, I can hopefully mitigate a lot of it. Sometimes we need the timestamps because he's far away and I want to make sure we circle the right kid, but you don't have to make circles anymore. You don't have to edit it together. I will do that.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
And you've been, like I said, you've done a good job, but I can just, that's my job. So that goes to everything we're talking about. Even though he's a freshman, there's this argument he's too early, which, is a fair argument. Like if he started in a month from now, he's not going to be too late. I can't say I'll be available in a month from now just because of the amount of kids I can work with. But more importantly is we do all of this so he can find the right coach. Let's say he gets an offer on June 15th from Michigan and he goes, I met the coach. I don't like the guy. That offer will disappear in 2 weeks. So I need your son to be himself. Like the kid who went to Duke, he's like, no, I went on visits by my sophomore year. I know what I want. And when the offer came, he was ready to say yes. That's really why we do this. I just want your son to be happy with whatever he picks, which is why I went from Malibu, California to Valpo. You know, you guys would understand what that means. I was the only kid from California who went to Valpo. So, and I loved it because I got to know the coach, and the coach was a great human, and he's going to come to my wedding, and I just had the best time ever. That's what I want for your son. Mike is the best.
Yeah.
Mike is the best. I spoke to Mike yesterday. He's coaching at Trine right now, actually. And Trine have a really interesting situation. They're playing against IU, Northwestern, and Notre Dame, and they're a Division III school. And they're playing against all three of them this year, which is like insane. That like never happens, which is crazy. So anyways, you get the idea. The goal is to find the right coach. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. So,
Okay.
So then, you know, as we were thinking about the math, and obviously it's a part of it. I
For
wasn't
sure.
sure what kind of the ROI models.
Yeah,
look
let me
like,
show you. That's a good
where
point.
he's at, and again, the cost of the schools. So it's,
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Let me show you it. So like this is the other companies that if you decide to work with, you could be by yourself or you could work with them. So your price will be different because of his age and also because of academic side. But you've heard of NCSA before or not yet?
yeah,
Okay.
heard it. But
Yeah. So I bought NCSA. Everybody I've worked with knows who they are. Basically, they're like big pharma. And you could talk to Mike Avery. Like Mike Avery recommends me students that I work with all the time because he knows that there is not very many systems out there that are so one-on-one, which is what I think is so important. So I will edit all your videos. They will not do that. They will edit one video, even if you buy their full system. You don't have the email system, which is like from your own email account. And the reason no one else has that is because they want credit. They want it to come from their, Cullen at NCSA. I don't care. I just want your son to be happy. I want to be able to talk to you all the time. They will talk to you like twice a week. And I have to your ROI question, which we'll talk about in a minute. If in 3 months from now, we're not getting results, I'm talking about talking to D3 schools in a real way, then I will refund it. So let's talk about that. Actually, let me just pause for just 1 minute. Cullen, there's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's supposed to save you time, but have I managed to scare you away from wanting to try and play college soccer?
No.
Not even a little bit? Okay. So let me see. Okay, let me see if this works and answer your father's question. So basically, you're going to get a coach plus me. You're going to get a college soccer guy coach who's obviously worked for me for a long time and has helped kids play college soccer. And the reason you need both of us is I need to look up the camps. I go to all these conferences. I talk to Mike Avery, and he calls me and says, hey, here's these new rules that are coming out. I talked to, like, at Valpo, there was Kelly Altman, who's now the coach of Florida. Jeff is now the coach at Ohio. So I just talked to all the people I know to figure out what they need. On top of that, though, you're going to have to talk to your coach about a lot of things. We need to edit all your videos. We need to do game video review. So I have a lot of footage of you. I want to make you a better player. So we're going to watch your game, and then we'll compare it to a college soccer player, and then we're going to tell you what you need to improve upon, separate from your team. I don't care about Indy other than you enjoy it and play, but I don't care if the coach says we're playing a 4-3-3, blah, blah, blah. I only care about you and how it relates to college coaches. It's individual. Does that make sense? Okay. And then we must meet every week the first month. This is non-negotiable. And then Discord. Have you guys heard of Discord before?
Yeah.
Okay. For your father, we'll have to get you on Discord too, Dad. But your son and I, we're going to be talking, for the next at least 2 years all the time. And we have to keep it in one place. We've tried to do email and texting. It never works. So we need to do it on Discord. This is where we will talk every day. It's very easy to use once you get the hang of it. It's just texting basically. And then you guys will get a Google Drive. So this is what your Google Drive will look like this is another freshman, just to give you an idea. This is what your Google Drive will look like in, a month. We'll have all your games, which you guys already have organized and whatnot. Like this was specifically for IU because they play a certain formation and this kid wants to play that formation. Or plays that formation with this club. Then you're going to get this Google document And on the Google document, we're going to be meeting, this kid's a senior, and basically on February 27th, we'll have a recorded meeting of what we spoke about, so you can give it to your dad if he's not around. And then you need to text Brown. And this is what you need to call UCSB. And Cullen, you're a little bit shy. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So you cannot be shy with these coaches. They will judge you on your human. One of the reasons Mike gave me a full ride was on the way from the airport to the school. He told me when he offered to me, he goes, Zev, you know, you were asking me about my children. You were asking me about my life. You're clearly a captain. And by sophomore year, I was a captain. That is the personality we need to invoke out of these coaches. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So we need to coach you on how to talk to people, which is, of course, a good life lesson anyways. But, you know, we want you to do that. And I have my master's degree in communication and in sports administration, and that's my job. So the next, and then the last piece, which you guys already saw, is the AI system, so we can email everybody. And then this is what it is to work with us for a lifetime. Now, let's say you say, you know what, Zev, we'll work with you in a year. It will still be this price. If you work with 2 years, it will still be, if you work with a senior, it will be this price. We reward the students for starting with us early. Does that make sense? Okay.
So it's that's the one time, and then
Sorry. No, this is the total. This is the total. We split it up into 3 payments. So you'll only pay this. You'll only pay 5, but we do it in 3 payments: 166, 166, 166, and we do it in the first 3 months. Because if you're not being genuinely recruited in the first 3 months, then we fully refund it.
So it's okay. So for him, I mean, these schools are at least 100,000, right? So I would assume not only getting to the schools and teams, you know, that are the best fit and that he wants, but the math, you invest $5K and your return based on at least your podcast is pretty decent.
It is pretty decent. So here's the math for that. So basically, if he keeps above a 3.5, which is A's and B's, we can pretty much guarantee $60,000 to $80,000 in scholarship. Now he's got to keep above a 3.5 for that to happen, and we have to start with them, you know, around this age for us to get those results. We can't guarantee it. We can't say I promise because it's illegal. But the goal is, if the schools really like him from a soccer and academic, and the good news is, if we're talking Division I, by the time he is getting the offers, which will happen in a year and a half or so, there's the new NCAA rule. There's unlimited scholarship for some schools, meaning they can have as much scholarship as they like. There used to be a limit, 9.9. Now it's unlimited for some schools.
Wow.
So that's a new rule that just happened a couple of weeks ago. But the problem is they cut the roster. Used to be unlimited roster. Now it's 28 and 28 only. So for Division I specifically. So the answer is, if you were to say, what's the return on investment? You invest 5, you're supposed to get 60 to 80. Now I'm going to be the first to tell you that if your son were to get offered from IU and they're not willing to pay, that's a slightly different scenario because you're in Indiana, but let's say Michigan then, and they're not willing to give a scholarship, and your son says, I got an offer from Michigan and he gets a great scholarship, but he says he hates the coach. I do not want him going to the school. I don't care if my business or return on investment isn't as good. I want him to be happy. I have too many kids who have come to me, want to transfer because they went to the school they thought they liked and were miserable. So the real thing that I cannot put a value on or return on investment on is his happiness. You know, for some people, 5 is a great deal to go to your dream school. For other people, it's not. But more importantly, I cannot put a measurement on his happiness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And finding the right school for him where he can get a job, and hopefully, you know, like I did, I found my wife or my future wife potentially from Valpo. So like I can't measure that, what that meant to me. That makes sense?
Yeah, you froze for a sec, but we got the gist. I think we heard it on the podcast too.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yeah, the fact. Yeah, this has been great. The fact that you spent so much time on the video, I'm shocked, but grateful. So
yeah,
and it shows me that, you know, we can trust your judgment on this is his options, I guess. So
yeah. So here's the last thing. As I mentioned, I don't work with very many students. And hold on one second. I'm just pushing my other call back. Beyond in 2 minutes. Okay, hold on. Is because I don't work with very many students, and I mentioned we had to figure it out by today. So instead of figuring it out by today, I want you guys to think on it, sleep on it, talk to your wife or your significant other, and go, is this something that we want to do? But I want to ask your son, Cullen, I don't work with very many students. I don't work with any students that aren't really excited or committed. Why do you think you're a good fit to work with me?
Like coachable, like as I really want to play college soccer.
I can tell in your voice how much that means to you. And for your father's perspective, why do you think your son's a good fit to work with us?
He's always been a creative player, kid, but also very quiet. So, so I'm looking forward to non-dad tools and services and guidance that make him do a lot of the work, but he can follow a playbook that it certainly sounds like you have. And you've invested, again, a lot of time that I doubt many others in your field would this early on. So yeah, very much appreciate it.
Thank you for that. That does mean a lot to me. I don't know everybody else, so I don't know, but I do know that I care a lot. You being from where you are, obviously, was a special for me, because not very many people know that region. And I know Chesterfield pretty well, and how far you're driving is insane, but I did the same thing, so I get that. So here's the last thing. I'm going to send over an email with everything we spoke about. I must have an answer in the next 24 hours if you want to work with us. I want you to talk to your mom. I want you to talk to your family. I want you to sleep on it, but I will prioritize the students that want to work with us the most, just because of then I'm able to confidently go, hey, this student is going to put in the work that I want them to put in, and I can get the results. So that way you can find the right college for you. You'll get a recording of this, and then you'll see the contract. And the contract says, if your grades drop below a 3.3, I will not work with you, because I won't be able to get you the scholarship that you want. That's number one. Number two, if you're, or whatever GPA your parents agree to. If you don't get me more video, which I don't have to worry about because I have your video, then I would also fire you. If you don't show up to the meetings, when you book meetings with me and my team, I will fire you. And then if in 3 months from now, you're not being genuinely recruited by a D3 school, which I know is a big ask, but I do believe it will occur, then you can ask for a refund and I will fully refund it. Deal? Okay, perfect, everyone. It was really nice talking to you. If you have any questions, let me know. And just so I have an idea from your father, let me ask you one more question. Let's say you were not going to work with us, just for hypothetical. What would be the reason you think you wouldn't work with us?
I can't think of a reason. Again, I
Okay.
know
if one comes up later,
I really could. I mean, the ROI seems to work. It's just very early in the process, Zeb. So that's the part I'm trying to get
yeah.
used to.
No, that's a good example.
Again, he's getting acclimated to new club, new teammates. They've been fantastic, and it's been a great experience. But wow, this other thing comes right in behind it. At the same time, he's still working through that, and so yeah, that's it, Zeb. I can't imagine if as he and I and others talk more about it.
Yeah,
if he's ready to put in the time right now, and from your help, he knows the pros and cons of delaying, but he's got to be willing to put in the time now. That's probably the other part, on top of everything else.
Yeah. So I think that's the question for you guys to discuss. Cullen, you have to talk to your parents. Say, is this the time you want to put in? If you want to play at IU or Michigan, I can tell you guys, you got to start now. There's no way around it. If you say you don't want to play at those schools, you want to play at a mid-tier D3, you can totally wait. Sound good?
Yeah, it's good input. Thank you, Zeb.
You're welcome, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you, Aries. Aries, you're a freaking legend. You are. I'm MLS. Is NAL good team to be a 7th grader? Yes. MLS next 2 good as freshman? Yes. Is MLS next 11? Okay. Thank you guys for watching. It's not that many of you left here. Okay. Okay. Being on one of the best U13 ESL teams in the country, what should I be doing specifically as a goalkeeper? Start going to camps, baby. Go to middle school camps for sure. Are you a girl too? Payato Chips. Please book a call with me, Payato. If you're a girl, there's a lot of things you can do. Yeah. A lot of things you can do. Why is recruiting different in soccer than other sports? I don't know if it's different. I just know how to do soccer. I would just say mainly soccer is so subjective.
Recording in progress.
If you compare it to like basketball, there's so many statistics. Football is statistics. Soccer, there are statistics, but it just depends. And also because soccer is not the most popular sport, you have to play club soccer. If you play high school football, you get recruited, but that does not work for soccer. What's the best website or place to make your highlight video? WeVideo.com. How long and how much highlight videos do you need to have a good video? Highlight video should be 2 to 3 minutes, and your every touch video should be 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you, Aries. Very good. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Sorry about the
Hello.
technical issue. I don't have a good answer to that. I've never seen that happen, but I appreciate your patience, and I'm excited to talk to you all. Could I just ask before we get started, who found me first?
I found you on both TikTok and Instagram, but more recently Instagram.
Nice. And for your mom, let me ask your mom, what did your son tell you about me? I did bribe him pretty well.
He just said, can you join me for a meeting Monday at 4:00? It has something to do with college. He's a very intrepid researcher.
Cool.
So I was like, I'll find out when we're there. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There was a longer video that I tried to make you and him watch before that I talked about the cost and everything. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
He sent it to me. And I'll watch it when we're done, if that's okay. I just got it.
No problem. I'm going to tell you what it is now. You'll see it on this call. It's sometimes nicer for you in terms of your time, just because it talks about my price. And if you weren't interested to begin with, it would save you 15 minutes that we're going to do today. But no problem. I understand everyone's busy. Lincoln, you got to see the video?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching it. I really appreciate that. So the goal for today, as your son mentioned, or as your mom mentioned, that you're a very inquisitive and proactive person yourself, those are definitely the types of kids I like to work with. So I never do a call with just the parent, and I never do a call, of course, with just the student. I need to have both on the call, which is why we're here. So he maybe mentioned to you what I do, but I help people play college soccer. And so far I've been doing my best, and we've gotten some good results, but I'm not able to help everybody. Have you guys heard of NCSA yet or not yet?
Yeah.
Okay. For your mom, have you heard of NCSA?
I sort of hear things now and then, but he's totally on top of it. So I'm just like, tell me the salient information.
Smart.
And what do you need from me?
So NCSA is like a big pharma corporation, like Kaiser Permanente.
Oh yeah, I know I did look up that. I know what that is.
So
okay.
I used NCSA. I wrote my master's thesis on NCSA when I was getting my master's degree to do this. And obviously I don't like them, but everything I do basically is to replace what I thought they would do. So that's kind of how I got started, is they were missing all these things. And I was like, I think I can do those things. And here we are. So the goal for today is to see if we're the right fit. Unlike NCSA, who takes everybody and anybody, I do not. I have a conversation with you guys and see if we're the right fit. So part of that is for me to talk to your son and say, hey, look, I already like what I'm doing now. A college coach will also like that your son is in charge, that he's the boss. So I need to see if we're the right fit. Likewise, Julie, you don't know me that well, so I want you to interview me and ask me some tough questions. And then I want to see if I can scare your son away from playing college soccer entirely and go, if I can do that, then Mom, we don't have to do any of this and you can just chill, no more driving, and we can just relax. I joke.
He drives now, so
He
I don't
drives
have to
now.
work.
Okay. So less games in the rain then.
Yeah.
And I have 3 brothers and we all played college soccer. And my mom made a Facebook page, half joking, about all the driving required and that it shouldn't be needed any longer. So
Yes.
anyways, and then the final piece is this: because of the nature of where your son is in the process and because of my aggressive nature when it comes to the recruiting process, as well as the demand for students to work with me, we must figure out by the end of today if we're going to work together. And we may need another day, which we can discuss, but I want you to get everything out so we can find out if we're a fit, because I won't be able to work with everybody. So that's the goal today. Does that sound like a deal?
Sounds good.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions for your son first. Mr. Lincoln, I have your information. I saw your video. Could you just confirm with me your grad year real quick?
2025.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I'm aware I'm late in the process and there's kind of some story behind that, but yeah.
Okay, we could talk about that for sure because I know RSL and I saw your video. So that brings me to my first question, which is, how many phone calls have you had with college coaches so far?
I have not had any.
Okay, has anybody talked about or emailed or texted you about coming on a visit this fall?
I'm emailing with Occidental right now, and I'm also emailing with UC Santa Cruz.
Okay, cool. And did they talk about coming to a game this fall or not yet?
Not yet. Right now with Occidental, I've just been keeping them updated with when I'm having games and sending them footage when I have games.
Okay.
I
know.
think we're gonna
Go ahead, sorry.
trip up there in fall.
Oh, can you say it again?
I think we might go on a trip over my fall break to visit the school and attend a game.
Okay, super helpful. I know Rod really well. Rod actually was my coach. I'm from SoCal.
Oh, wow.
So I know we have 4 students at Occidental over the past 3 years. So I know Occidental really well. We just had a goalkeeper commit, and we have another midfielder who committed last year. And I love the campus. Obama went there. Obviously, it's a very good school, and they are not done, but I will tell you they are close to being done.
Yeah.
The coach said they were still looking at it. I'm sorry to interrupt, whatever.
Please.
But that was one of the questions. Are you still recruiting for 25, right? And you said yes.
Yeah, they definitely still are, but they get done quick because they have ED1 that they like to try and get everybody recruited by roughly the timeline. But they do go to some more events and things of that nature. And you mentioned Santa Cruz. Tell me a little bit about your conversations with them.
So far, I feel like I've been receiving pretty generic emails from them, and I haven't really talked to them about sending more footage than I've already sent. And that was kind of the question I was going to ask today on this call, is that when I'm receiving these more generic emails, should I just respond and say hey, are you still recruiting for this year? Should I keep talking to you? Or
Good question. So I don't have the answer for you right now. Part of our job when we're working together is we customize it for every school. So sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. And when we're working together, I can definitely look at the emails and tell you what you should and shouldn't do. Now, I will tell you, does that make sense, Lincoln?
Yeah.
What I will tell you is UC Santa Cruz, because that's a unique situation, they will not give anyone an offer until after they've been admitted. So Santa Cruz is a tough one because you won't know if you need to be recruited by them. So if you're getting generic interest, that doesn't really count. But also, let's say they tell you eventually they will maybe respond to if we help you, and they will tell you, if you get in, we will want you on the team. But that's how they'll phrase it. UC Santa Cruz is a unique situation. Not every school is like that. So like Occidental, they will tell you before. But that is the case for Santa Cruz. And Occidental is very competitive academically. So you have good GPA, but you don't have through the roof. Your GPA is fantastic. Just kidding. So that is helpful for Occidental. Super helpful. Okay, which brings me to this. Ultimately, other than Occidental, which you may go to in the fall, he hasn't explicitly said like come to a fall game and come on an official visit, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He has not
and there's no other schools as of right now.
No.
Okay. And then if I were to ask you, what do you think you need the most help with, Lincoln? What would you say that is?
I think the thing I would need the most help with is like navigating how to respond to the emails. And then also like, I feel like I kind of have a good idea of the kind of college I want to go to, but I think that since I don't necessarily want to go to a super, super small college, but I'm also looking at the D3 level that really like limits my options. So maybe I'd be looking at some D2 schools too, but kind of knowing where to go based on my interest, but also my playing level.
Okay. And then for your mom, what do you think? I know he's kind of in charge, but I will tell you guys are very late, especially for a top academic, especially given how good he is, because I've seen his video and I know his team. What do you think he needs the most help with?
Catching up to whatever degree he can, because again, we are behind on this. And I don't know why that is. Oh, it's because you didn't have any film. Is that it?
Well, I was like injured pretty much all of my fall season last year. And then
You had mono, right? Yeah, you had
Yeah.
mono and couldn't play because of the spleen.
And then I didn't end up getting a lot of my film from my spring season until during May, because like just my club just didn't get it together really. And so I ended up getting it during May, and then I was working on my highlight video throughout May. But then like over the summer, I wasn't really getting much response, but then it started kind of picking up once school seemed to have started again in May. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what I went through.
Okay, got it. Now I appreciate it, and like I feel for you, but college coaches, do you think college coaches care? Without being
No.
mean, they have very little empathy. They just
Yeah.
want results. They just want to know, can they see you in person, and that's it. And Rod obviously can express that to you and say, yeah, that's great and all, but like I gotta win. And if Rod loses enough games, he will be fired. And he's got a family and he's got kids and he has a wife. And, you know, that's an issue upon itself. So that's helpful for me to understand. Now, why do you want to play college soccer? You have great grades. There's an argument. I will talk about maybe who you're applying to in addition to, or even without soccer. Why do you want to play college soccer?
Just because I really enjoy playing soccer, and I feel like it's always been a big part of my life. And like, it kind of is what allows me to balance the other aspects of my life, because it allows me to like release stress, and I just really enjoy doing it. So it gives me a break from the other things going on.
Awesome. And for your mom, look, I understand. Obviously, I love that your son's doing this on, taking charge. Academics always come first for us, which is kind of what I would have mentioned in the video before. And I think you guys would agree with me. Is that right? Okay, great. Which is to then say, why do you want to help your son play college soccer?
So I will say one thing is Lincoln's dad, my husband, tends to be the driver of the soccer, literally and otherwise, and his degrees in film. So he's kind of been doing I've kind of been out of hands off, letting them figure it out. And I didn't know how behind we were. Lincoln is extremely disciplined and motivated. So like he'll have this thing where I need to get X number of touches in, and it'll be like years. I mean, if it's raining, you hurt yourself. Like he's so focused and disciplined. He has so much, it gives him so much joy. He likes the social, like he is in 3 different pickup leagues, one with these Raytheon engineers and one with a bunch of Kuwaiti architecture students and stuff. So and I love seeing how calm he is and what a leader he is. And it just, and I do where he's so intense and so focused in school. And as you can tell, he's kind of like perfectionist, that this is such a nice balance, as he says. And I think the camaraderie would be amazing. I don't think he'd be D1 material anyway, but I'm glad. I want him to go to school where there's academics, both. Yeah. So I'm not hell bent on it. I mean, he can get tuition free at any of the Arizona schools. I think he gets some good scholarships at private schools. So I'm not married to the idea. I don't have my ego and identity isn't involved in it. I'm not a soccer mom. You can put it mildly, because you don't go to my games. But I know how much he wants it, and he's been playing since he was so little, and he's worked so hard to get where he is. And he's it's nothing we've ever pushed him to do. He just seeks it out.
Awesome.
So
Really helpful. Thank you.
where did you play with Rod?
So Rod is age-wise, he's definitely older than me, but he coaches for a team. He's the director of an MLS Next club here in LA called Surf. And I played for them as a kid.
Okay.
So that was my first initiation with Rod. Then I was playing college soccer. I came back home, and I was doing what I'm doing now. This was like 7 years ago now. And I was like, look, maybe one day I want to be a college coach. So I emailed a bunch of college coaches who had recruited me. Rod was one of those. I said, Rod, could I shadow you for a while? And as it happened, I worked for him for like a little while. So I was his volunteer assistant coach for a very short period of time. And as it happened, my former club teammate is now the assistant there with him. And I was like, oh, like this is amazing. Occidental's beautiful, because I'm from Malibu. So it's a little bit different.
Oh, wow. You're from
Occidental.
Malibu. That's pretty, it must be hard to go anywhere else.
Yeah, I was spoiled. And I went to college in Valpo, Indiana, which is the middle of nowhere. And I had the best experience ever. I loved it. I got a full ride. And I got a great education, and I'm super happy, which is a big reason why I do what I do now, because Occidental's a great school, but there are other schools that may not be on people's radars, like Valpo was for me. And I went on to just have I met my future wife, my college coach coming to my wedding. I just had the best experience ever. I do what I do now because of my college coach. Pretty much I was kind of like your son, actually, very similar. I was outgoing, and I kind of was like, coach, I want to know what you do. How does it work? So I thought I was going to be a college coach for sure. And that's what I got my master's degree for. And that was on the track I was on. And then I started helping kids play college soccer about like 5 years ago. And then I posted a video, and it just blew up. And people were like, help me. And then I just kept posting videos. And then eventually, as your son mentioned, he found me. And now I've created it much more methodical, which I'll show you today, to go based off of what Rod tells me. Like Rod will say, Zev, phrase emails like this. I go, okay, phrase emails like this. Done. Because they obviously know what they're doing, and I worked with them for a while. So
wait, sorry, I'm going to interrupt one more thing. When you said you have 4 players at Oxy right now, what do you mean? You like people you've worked with?
Mm-hmm. So like if I work with your son, I'd call him one of my students one day. So we have 4 students who committed there. Yeah.
Do you know Ethan Carr?
Ethan Carr, yes.
Yeah. So that's my mom's best friend's grandson. So like his mom and I grew up together.
Oh, really?
And so
like
they've been in touch. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And not this past summer, but the summer before, I went to California. I would do training sessions with him and stuff.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's from Mill Valley, I think. He played at Marin, which is like a Northern California.
I think they're in Larkspur, Mill Valley. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He played for Marin, and they're a good North
Marin
Carolina.
Academy the Marin Academy has a couple people at Oxy right now. I think. Yeah.
And they're not super close by, but they're a good academy. They have a good reputation. So yeah, no, I know. I didn't work with Ethan, but I know who he is. And the kids we have there are freshmen, and one of them's a junior, and the other one's going to be a freshman next year.
Yeah, I grew up in Marin, so I almost went to Marin Academy. I didn't. I went to Redwood, but yeah, I know.
Cool. Oh, very cool. So yeah, so that, to answer your question, that's kind of how we got started. And then basically going to your son again, my concern is obviously where we're at in the process, but I want to show you what I think I would propose to fix it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what we'll do. So basically, look, I don't work with very many seniors just because of the nature of, frankly, it's just a lot of work. But when you have a student who's proactive like your son, I like to try and give them the tools and teach them what they need to do to fix it. For example, his video, and I appreciate your husband's in the film industry. My father is too. That's partially why we ended up in Malibu. My father's an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, and he made all of my highlight videos. And he did okay. He didn't know anything about soccer. Your son's videos, though, unfortunately, is really not that usable. Half of the footage, you can't even tell who he is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, because they don't have anyone really filming it. It's like, Tucson's kind of a little bit crusty. Like he didn't get any footage from high school. Someone filmed it, but he could never get it.
Right, which is frustrating.
It's not like Marin. So yeah, and it's you
frustrating.
Can't see in some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know. Go ahead, Lincoln.
That was our problem. Is I felt like I had some good clips, and one of them was like one of my best clips from the whole tournament was like I took 2 players on, and then I got a good cross in. We almost scored, but the camera didn't turn and capture it, and I was so frustrated. But that
and this is
kind of the problem, is that there are these good clips, but since it was such a short showcase, and which meant that it wasn't like we had other clips like we'll just throw these in, that I didn't really know what to do with like the ones that you couldn't totally see me but kind of could.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, and going back to, I know you're frustrated. College coaches don't care. You got to fix it now.
Yeah.
You have to fix it quickly. So here's the proposition that I have for you, and you can talk about this with your mom. I talk about it in a minute. But the first thing is your video. So like my frustration with your video is I was looking at your whole YouTube page, which you can have little pages of you playing soccer as a kid. That's not that big of a deal. But college coaches are going to look at this. So just so you know. And they're going to listen to what you guys said. And, you know, it's important. It plays a big role. So that's number one. Number two is, wait for it, the video that you gave me, I'm going to pull it up here, is, you know, like I was telling your mom, and your mom kind of agreed. What I'm trying to figure out is what you're like. So I've got no self-interview, which is a problem. There's too much information here. It's just how it works. Grad year, GPA, you cannot play this many positions. That does not make any sense. It works against you. And then this is great. Big fan. Love this. Really love that big time. And then your footage. When I look at it, I immediately go, good soccer player from the couple clips. I know it's grainy. Nothing you can do about it. I don't really care. It's more when I get to these clips when I can't tell, you know, I can't. So here's my point. This is too long of a video to have it be that. So we're going to cut it down to 1 minute to maybe 1 minute 30 of the clips that work. Okay, that's number one. Otherwise, you will not get responses. That's just how this is going to go. So that's number one. I can also zoom in because I will edit it myself, and I can literally zoom in, and then I will be able to see you. It will lose some quality, but that's the deal. You do not have enough video. So this whole thing of we don't have enough video, mom, dad, filming, have to film. There's no excuse. It has to be done. Otherwise, you will not play college. You will reduce your chances of playing college soccer. The next thing is, so that going to my steps, you must get film. Now, I have this email system, which for you, I think you do need, but you may disagree with me, which is okay, which is this system that I built basically would allow us to email all the top academic schools in the country. You'll have your own list. This is connected to my account. You press select all, you click write emails, you type dear, hashtag coach's name, hashtag genuine. It will automatically help you create something genuine to say for every coach, and it will insert their coach's name for you. So it will go to all these schools to find out if they need you. And this is just for the top academic ones. Does that make sense? So we can catch up pretty quickly, not with your current video, but with a new, better version. And then some of them will not respond. So you will be notified through the system if they do not respond to you. Then every time they do respond, you will be asked, it will connect to your account. You'll be asked to organize the emails and go, oh, this was a genuine one. They invited me to a camp. Should I go? Should I not go? Let me ask me. I'm going to help you decide. Then if you say, when are the camps? This is a chat GPT, but only for college soccer, where if you say like, when is the ID camp for masters? It has it. When is the ID camp for Vassar? It has it. So it's basically collected every senior, every coach's bio. It's just chat GPT, but just for college soccer. And this way we can find out the answers very quickly. And then I'm going to give you a list of schools. So that's the part where I'm like, you're not talking to enough schools. Also, you need to leverage. Like I can tell you right now, Oxy's talking to other players. Down the line, they may say to you, you know what, if you get in on your own, you can maybe walk on. Then you go get an offer from somebody else. You go back to Rod and say, hey, Rod, you know, I really appreciate the opportunity, but I have another offer now. He may go, okay, well, in that case, actually, you're on the team. That's how this works. Does that make sense? Would you agree that having one interest typically is not enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and in my own life, you know, I was offered a D1 Cal Poly, which is a big D1 school, a bigger D1 school.
Yeah.
And then they rescinded their offer, you know, in my senior year. They're like, we changed our mind. And my parents were like, what you told us in front of our whole family that our kid was coming to your school. You know, my father was beyond pissed, and we went to the AD and they're like, nothing we can do about it. That's life. So then I had to find another school. So I don't ever like that you only have one school. Now, the other thing is you have already done some things. I know you've sent a bunch of emails according to, you know, you've sent some emails and got no responses. I need to see the email. So I need to do what's called an audit. I need to look over everything and figure out your issue. Club soccer, we're not going to deal with this exact minute because I like your club and your coach. We might be able to leverage him later, but not this second. And then we need to Eventually, like right now you have your top list. We're going to focus on that 20 top academic D3s. You mentioned you're open to D2s. For your mom and I just have to be honest, those are not good enough academically for your son. So we kind of have to ignore some of those unless you guys are open-minded to it. The D1s
I only
are...
saw a couple that were good academically. UC Merced is going to be D2 this upcoming year.
Yeah, UC Merced's really good. And your son said he wanted to study
environmental science.
So there are schools which is why Santa Cruz would be on your list. There are D2 schools with environmental science. So we're going to email the D2s also. We just need to do so in a pretty aggressive way quickly, because now the good news is with D3s and D2s, if he sends a big email out and he's a good player, you can get offers on video alone. Now, some of those schools you won't want to go to, but then we need to leverage those. Right now, to me, you're in no man's land, and that's very risky. Okay. Which is then to say we're doing all of this because academics come first, and we want your son to be happy, and he's got to apply to schools he wants to go to without soccer also. And if he does do that, we will email those schools specifically with a different email to say, if I get in, could I have a walk-on? Could I try out? Which are very rare and difficult. You have to go to their camps, and we'll help them with that. But it is to say the whole point of this really is because even though academics come first, and I agree with that, if he doesn't like his coach, he's going to be miserable.
Right. That's what I was thinking. We want to
so
have a good experience. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So there's no price I can put on a good experience. My brother had a horrible experience, and it was awful. And it was just miserable. And that was a problem for, this situation. And I don't want that to happen to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want him to be happy. That's what me as a mom, just be
Yeah.
like, I want him to, and I want him to apply to schools that either don't have soccer teams or D1 or only have club, just in case you love the school too.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. So
but do you think soccer wise, does he have the skills for D2, D3?
good question. From what I've seen in the video, it does seem that way. He's athletic enough. He's technical enough. I wouldn't put D1 out of the question completely because he's very fast. And I think that you would agree, Lincoln, it's one of your strengths. But because of where we're at in the process, you had mentioned yourself that you're not adamant. You're not like, I'm going to jump my son over a bridge if he doesn't play D1, which is lovely, like some other parents I have to deal with. But I will say that right now he is the level. And even if I didn't think so, you have Rod is confirmed. Rod does not talk to you unless he likes you. So that is genuine. That is very genuine. So he can, but he may have to be open-minded to not Arizona. He may have to be open-minded to a smaller school. You won't maybe get his top choice right now because we're very late.
Mm-hmm.
Or he can say, look, I'd rather not play college soccer and go to what school I get into, which is totally fair too. And they have club teams and he can still play for fun, but it's not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. Which kind of brings me to this. These steps that I've shown you, have I managed to scare you away at all or not yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it makes, I'm sort of frustrated about I kind of always felt like we were behind in the process. My best friend's son plays D1 soccer at St. Bonaventure, and she's like, they already have their rosters, and so I've been antsy about it, but I haven't been able to make anything happen. And we're not filming out of state. I wish that we'd film more games, or our dad had filmed more games earlier, but anyway, or that your high school had been able to give you information. So. And
this is, partially why I exist, but it's also to say it's not because he's a good soccer player with great grades. At least again, I'm biased per se, but your son deserves to look under every rock before he doesn't get the chance, is what I would say.
Yes, for sure.
So this is what it looks like. You guys heard of NCSA and other people like me. So the first thing is with NCSA, they do not edit all your videos. I'm going to edit all his videos from now on. So you will send me whatever video you get, whether it's iPhone or however we're going to get video, and I will edit it. You saw the email system. No one else has it. It's basically the reason no one else has it, besides it's very specific to how I want it built, is I don't take credit for anything. So it never says, Lincoln at CollegeSoccerGuy. It just is his own email. And all the other companies are like, what's the point of that? And I don't care because I want the results. And I know the results are better if it comes from his own account. We need to talk to him every single week for the next month. That is non-negotiable. So I need to be able to do so. And so I need to talk to him every day. They will not talk to you every day. And then in my world, if he's not being recruited in 3 months, that's not an offer, but genuinely recruited. Like right now, he's genuinely being recruited by Occidental. One of the things is we need to move that over. Like we need to get pretty aggressive with them, which we will coach you through, especially since I know Rod. But we need to like get results literally in the next 3 months, or he won't play college soccer.
Right.
So that's how I work when it comes to other companies. Now, I want to show you what it looks like from a day-to-day, just so if this is the last point to scare you, and your mom will also see the cost. So you saw the other cost of 15. That's if he needed academic help, which he does not. So it'll be considerably less. Okay, so then this is the next thing. Basically, he's going to get a coach plus me. I've done this for a while now, and just me is not enough. I'm going to tell him who to email. I'm going to tell him what he needs to do with Rod. I'm going to tell him what other schools we're going to email. I'm going to tell him what to say. We're going to review what he's already done, but he needs to be able to talk to a coach every day, 24/7. And that coach is going to coach him through, hey, this coach wants a phone call. What do you say? Hey, your email system isn't the AI system. You didn't log in correctly. Fix it. Your signature is not done. Fix it. More of an admin piece of it. And then everything else you're going to get from me, the list of schools, what to say, how to respond. And the coach is also going to. The coach is not a nobody, right? They've been trained and they've gone on to play college soccer, and now they're getting their master's degree, and they're very good at what they do, which is why they work for me. Then you must talk to me. You must talk to me every week. And here, you must meet with us, me and my team, every week for the first month. And I know you're in school, I know you're busy, but I guess if I'm going to tell you, there's a piece that we missed here, and we got to make up for it. This is what that means.
His time management is kind of amazing. Like he has a Depop shop and a business, so like he crams everything in.
A business? What's your business?
I sell vintage clothing. Previously
Amazing.
It was online, but now I'm in person.
Okay, I'm so glad you told me. That's so cool. First of all, it's so cool for applications, but also I can use this analogy, which I don't get to use often. This is the business. You are the vintage clothing. Your mom is the investor. I'm your marketing manager, and your job is to get sold. It's the same as a business. And your lead source, right? Your ability to keep track of all your leads of who's going to buy your vintage clothing is what the pipeline is. This is going to be who emailed me about my vintage clothing, who liked it, who should I send a follow-up to, who should I give a discount to, blah, 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 blah. So it's the exact same thing as running a business. And we have a lot of kids actually who write essays on their college soccer process and, starting a business of sort. We need to fix your video. Okay, so you'll send me a video. We do not have time for this, which is like where we talk about how to improve. We will deal with that later. You will get a Google Drive, which your mom didn't see, so I'll show you. Here's what another senior's Google Drive looks like, just so you get an idea. So mom, I know to your point, you're busy and your husband and your son has kind of been doing, each step.
But I totally have time to do this kind of thing. I mean,
okay, that is helpful. So here's how we need you to do that. Your son's going to get a folder like this, so we can have every touch videos, his highlight video. We're going to send specific videos to, this is to IU, this is to Washington and Lee. These are to specific schools. Then your son's going to get a document that's going to look very similar to this. And when we get the document, you're more than welcome to come to all the meetings. But every time you meet with us, your son's going to get a recording of what we did. So if you're not there, you can review it. And also your son's going to get a to-do list. Hey, you need to text this coach. Hey, you need to call this coach. You need to follow up with this coach. You need to call this coach over and over again. And as you can see here, we meet every single week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I see these other things about schools. The other thing is he's like been a camp counselor. And so he's like got a ton of like.
Definitely something for his applications, and we can talk about that and give advice and everything. Now we're obviously the soccer piece of it, but him being a soccer player, like when he emails the coaches, he's going to mention, I have a business. He won't go into so many aspects, but college coaches know that if he has a business, he's a grown-up. He is going to maybe have a better chance of getting into the school. We won't go into a whole essay, but 2 or 3 sentences will be added.
He's a grown-up. Yes.
He's a grown-up. Yeah, I can feel he's a grown-up, which is then to say, this is what it looks like to work with us financially. And I want to be clear, we're a lifetime deal. So it's 5 for life. So we're with them forever. So let's say he's in college and Rod gets fired. He may need help. We're with you forever. Now we split it into 3 payments. If after the first payment, you say, Zev, this is amazing. We had so much success, but we don't want to keep working with you. We would let you leave. You could go on your own and you wouldn't get a refund, but you'd go, we were so helpful because we're going to send a lot of emails very quickly. But if you want a potential refund, we need at least 3 months with you. And we're saying, hey, if in 3 months from now you're not getting genuinely recruited by a top academic school that you want to go to, then we will refund it. And the goal is, if he stays with us for a minimum of 3 months, that we will get a scholarship upwards of $60,000 to $80,000 if he keeps his grades above a 3.7, which he is on track to do. And that's been this is not my opinion. We've done this with kids. This is our full kind of list of students here. This is every person we've ever committed, and you'll see Occidental on it. And this is the amount of scholarship like the students have received so far. And that's just our record as of today. I'll send it to you as well.
But also, if D3 schools can't give soccer athletic scholarships, and there's like a limited amount of, like we don't have a ton of need-based stuff, like we don't have enough money to pay for college, but we don't make little enough where it's
sure. I understand. My parents were the exact same. So to answer your question, first of all, the way we get the scholarship, especially for the D3s, is academic. And the way Rod or other schools will give it to you is they'll say, we really like him for soccer, get him in and give him some more money.
More than just a calculator shows. They did the calculator, and I'm like, we still would need to pay $30,000 a year, and we have no.
And Occidental is one of the most expensive schools there is.
Yeah.
So yes, the academic side will play a big role in this, and getting for the top academics, they tend to be the most expensive. But if they like you for soccer, not only will he have a better chance of getting in, which is important just for that, is if he gets in. So far, we have a very good record of leveraging other schools and talking about how much scholarship he's going to get so we can get him more. And if he gets admitted into another school, you can actually literally say, this school gave me this much, but I want to go to your school. Will you match it? And they pretty much always have to match it. So we can talk about that as we get there.
That's one thing. And I know I'm obviously going to focus on other schools, but like ever since I discovered UC Santa Cruz, it's for sure been like my dream school. But the thing is, they don't offer, and they offer very, very little academic based aid,
Correct.
Which is obviously academic.
If you're out of state, right? Yeah, out of state, there's one scholarship, like one merit-based scholarship, and it just reduces it to in-state tuition, which is like still
yeah.
a lot.
And UC Santa Cruz, as being your dream school, we can't make them give more scholarship if as the rule states for Santa Cruz. But being your dream school, you deserve to get an answer from them. Now I can tell you now, because I know that coach, and I had a teammate who played at Santa Cruz that I played pro with, and that coach has been there for 25 years. Is your video doesn't merit a response, so that's why you're not getting a response from them. You are good enough for in fact, I would say you're a higher level than most Santa Cruz kids. But if you want to push for Santa Cruz, we need to go talk to other schools and then go back to Santa Cruz. So you will give us, and we will give you what we think is our top 10 to 15, and we will push those hard. But we will email other schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so here's the last thing I want to ask you. At the beginning of the call, I kind of mentioned we have to figure out by today if we're going to work together. And that's not because I want you to feel forced or rushed, but you are in a rushed position with or without me is number one. Number two, I don't work with very many 2025s just because of the nature of your situation. It's a lot of work for me. It's a bigger pain, to be honest, just because we have a lot of work to do. Now, I love what I do, so it's fine. But it's a lot of work. So my question to you, Lincoln, is why do you think you're a good fit to work with us?
I think I'm a good fit to work with you guys just because I feel like I'm a person and I'm a student who's able to put in the work to this kind of things, and I never, like, once I'm committed to something, I never like flake from that and stuff, and I'm also able to organize my time well to do stuff like this. And I also just think that I'm strong academically, and then I have a love for the game, and I'm a pretty good player, and I think I have a drive to play at the college soccer level.
Exciting. From your mom, and I believe I can feel it. What, Mom, why do you think your son's a good fit to work with us?
Well, I just heard about you. I didn't know. Lincoln just asked if I could jump on a call, and it was some college thing. I wasn't totally sure. I guess, again, that's part of it, is because he's finding all these things. He'll do whatever he needs to do to make something happen. Like, he built a computer during COVID because he wanted to play video games or whatever. Like, I've never had to check on his homework or whatever. So he's so self-directed that I feel like if he says he could do this, I'm kind of hands off with him. I'm hands off with him, not because I don't care, but because I don't need to, and I don't, except for I wish we'd done more with the film, but I didn't know how far behind things were. I just think that he'd be a good the financial thing is a concern, but we can talk to my husband and see what we can do. But yeah, I feel like once he's motivated, there's not really any stopping him. He's slightly relentless, which can be a good thing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Let's say you were not to work with me, which may be the case. What do you think would be, just so I can either answer another question, what do you think would be the main reason for you not to work with us?
Is that for Lincoln or me?
That's for your mom.
Oh, okay. It would just be money because like we don't even have college savings. We both went to grad school, had student loan debt until I kind of still do. We both work at the university, don't make a ton of money. And yeah, we don't really have savings we always have things that are broken. So that's the main thing. Like, okay. I wish I was like a Marin County mom who was like, whatever it takes.
I know what you mean. So let me show you one other option then. Because I still want your son to play college soccer because I think he deserves to. Yeah. So you saw the tools, right? The email system. So the other option is instead of, we help him every day for the next forever life, we could do a 1-hour call where I get to just tell him, here's what you need to do to fix your video. And you guys have to go fix it. You mentioned your husband's in the editing world. So maybe that's possible. So I would tell you, do this,
he doesn't
and this.
do it now. That's just what his graduate degree is in. He doesn't do it.
Okay. Yeah. So anyways, what I could do is I could tell you how to fix your video. He would still be able to ask us questions on Discord and he would get a coach, but he would only get 1-hour call with us. So the other model is unlimited. This is one call. He would get the email system, so he could use the email system and would still give him our list of schools, and he'd get the AI that would tell him about the ID camps. So he would still get help, and this way it's cheaper. So if you say, hey, look, he wants to do it on his own, and you just need one call with us to get him off and going, price-wise, this might be more realistic. If you say, hey, look, we want to invest the $5K so we can get $80K in scholarship, then that's what the other model is for.
Yeah, that would be kind of amazing. And then we get a payback. And I assume you take credit cards.
Yes. Yeah, we only take credit card.
Okay, good. Just say, because that was like 0 interest credit card. Like we have really, really good credit. So I'm like, we have a 0 interest credit card at least.
For sure. And I would, it's split into 3 payments. So if he gets an offer in the first month, which isn't out of the question, then we'll be done. I'm not going to stop him from that. But we ask for 3 months because it's pretty typical. And then I'm going to give you the second option just so you have it. I don't like that one for him because again, we have to do in 1 hour. I can't tell him how to do Occidental, for example, but I could do some things. So anyways, those are both options. I appreciate your guys' honesty and telling me how you feel and everything. Lincoln, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you. You are an adult. This is your business. So one thought as a side note is, I don't know if your vintage clothing is making any money, maybe not quite yet, but this is amazing. Well, then this is your job, incredible. Maybe you put up your level of investment because this is your life, which I think would be super cool just for your essays, regardless. Is definitely put that in there because it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So then we could do 2 months. If it was 2 months, we don't pay for the third month, or is it just
good
the 1
question?
month?
It's just the one. So we're with you. Once we start the second one, we're in it for good.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. And obviously we need to talk does Dad know you had this call or you were having this call?
No, because I knew he was going to be at work. And so we'll definitely have to talk to him about this. Because
I'm at work too. You asked me.
I know, but
it's okay.
Yeah.
So this is recorded.
Work schedule's more
this is recorded. It'll be sent to you afterwards.
Oh, really? Oh, good. Okay.
And so you can send it to him.
You can send it to him.
You can send it to him. And then if you have any other questions, like I said, just let me know. And you can email me back. I just asked, you have to let me know in 24 hours. If you decide you want to do it, you'll see the contract. You'll make the first payment. Your son will get an email with all the directions on how to start working with us. And like I said, you're going to have to get me your self interview. I need to fix your video, but by Thursday, I'd like to send out your highlight video. If not by Friday, then we'll have a very good answer by next week.
And just for some context, I just got back from Utah at like 11 o'clock last night. We had 2 games this weekend, won one, lost one. And so I will have more film coming in from that.
Cool.
My club tends to not be the best about getting it quickly, as I kind of had described previously. So I'm keeping in contact with the guy who's in charge of sending out film. And I just don't know how soon I'll get it.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. We have a lot of work I can use with your current video, so we're okay. But within 3 months, I will need more footage, of course.
Of course.
Okay.
And you played really well, I guess. So good. Okay.
Perfect. That'd be great. Oh, that'd be awesome. It was a pleasure talking to you all, everyone. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was nice
All
to
right,
meet
take care.
you.
Bye.
Bye, Aikman.
Okay, hello everybody. That is it for the day. I can answer a couple questions real quick. Is NPL 15 good? It's pretty good. I'm NPL 13. 13 is very good. I have a question. How can I improve my speed of play? Watch soccer. Watch lots of soccer. Oh, thank you, Aries. What a legend that guy is. And okay, Instagram, we're good. Any questions over here? Thoughts on Hope International? Hope is Mimo. I know we already texted you about it. Hope is really good, Mimo. Can you repeat that about videos? Sorry, I don't remember what I said. Hello, I'm 17. I live in Dubai. Book a call for internationals. I have a question. How can I improve my speed of play? Okay. All right. I think I answered all your questions. All right. You guys have any more questions? Book a call with me. And I can try and help you out there too. TikTok. What site should I use for editing highlight videos? WeVideo.com. Junior year, haven't started due to lack of film. Is it too late for D1? D1, you might have trouble. What do you think of field level? I do not like field level. They've split up the games too much. You need to put it on YouTube. How long and how much high videos do you need to have a good video? About 3 to 7. What's the best website? Okay, perfect. All right. Being on one of the best East team countries, should I be doing? You need a training video, Payato Chips. Okay. Pleasure, everybody. I very much enjoyed talking to you all. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Bye-bye, everybody.